Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got the sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, it can be a better day despite the challenge.
You picked the best songs.
All you gotta do is leave it better than you
That fills my bucket. Thank
I
you.
know it's difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, cause there is no way you're bound. Everyone
I could do this all day.
I love this. Surfaces by Sunday Best by Surfaces.
It's okay.
What's this?
It's okay. Feeling good. Like I
That's, you know, I dance like Elaine from Seinfeld.
That was That was good. I don't know a lot of these. Like, I didn't know this side of you. Like, you know, you're from Texas, and this is a total stereotype of me. Like, I didn't, you know, these are underground kind of. Well, you're not from Texas. You're from Connecticut. Hey, okay, so it's another episode of Command Your Morning. Thank you for being here on a Friday. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be so exciting today. We have an exciting show. So please.
I can hardly sleep, honestly. I get so much energy. I get so much energy from Linda McKissack, and so I'm so excited.
Hold on, we have Linda McKissack on the show?
Yeah, didn't you know?
Yes.
Didn't I tell you?
What'd you tell me?
I said, didn't I tell you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm excited for Linda. So she'll be here soon. So don't go anywhere. Stay here. We got people watching. We got Linda coming on. It's going to be a super fun on a Friday. We got to end the week right. So Jesse, how has your week been? Has it been good?
Oh, it's been amazing. Re-entry week after my sabbatical has been one of the best, really one of the best ever on record. So I feel great. How are you?
That's amazing. I'm doing well. You know what I'm going to do today with my kids?
What are you going to do?
My kids are obsessed with like watching YouTube videos about abandoned towns and abandoned buildings. Like they watch these YouTube guys where they go and they like explore abandoned areas.
How cool.
So I'm going to take them to, I mean, it's abandoned, but it's kind of like a state park. It's called Haven Hill. It's probably about 20 minutes from my house. It's actually the old Edsel Ford. Edsel Ford was Henry Ford's son. It's the Edsel Ford estate.
How cool.
So it's abandoned. So they kind of keep it up, but it's definitely falling apart. But you can walk through it and walk around his estate with the abandoned pool and the abandoned barn and the abandoned house. And so my kids are gonna have fun with that. They'll want to use my phone and pretend they're YouTubers. You know,
that's gonna be so much fun. So much fun. Let them record it. You should edit it for them, and you'd have it for. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that for them. I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna do that today. So that'll be fun. Got to get them out of the house. You know what I mean? Hey, so I just want to chat about something real quick. Mm-hmm. Is the market in Texas like completely insane? Like the housing market?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, like, North Texas is a really it's almost a mirror image of the whole country on average. It's cool to just look at North Texas. DFW essentially mirrors kind of the whole United States in almost every category. So yeah, it's on fire.
I was reading this article in the Wall Street Journal about, and it focuses on a lot of different areas of the country. But if you know how they write, the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times like write these stories and they humanize them. You know, they base the story around like one couple or one person who's been looking for a house. Anyway, this couple, 25, 26-year-old guy and girl, they're about to get married, and they've made 20 offers on houses like over the last 6 months or so, and they've lost every single house. Yeah. And it's this crazy story. Like, this is happening all across the country.
Of course, yeah.
Right. And, you know, in some of these areas where they're in the Allentown, Pennsylvania town or city. But like in some areas in the Allentown area, housing prices have jumped up 24% in the last 3 months. Mm-hmm. And then certain areas like Nashville, the price has gone up 159% in the first quarter.
Whoa.
Fort Wayne, Indiana, the housing prices have climbed up 56%. So it's crazy. Like,
Whoa.
you know, and then
okay, so just a quarter ago. Just a quarter ago. Okay, just a quarter ago, the year over year, I think the worst area in the country was Las Vegas and Austin were a tie at like 30%. So right now, 40% in DFW. Thanks, Johanna. So that's insane. Tell me more.
Yeah, so let me look at the rest of this stuff. So the story about this couple, they submitted an offer on this house that the story is about. The house was listed at $250. They submitted an offer for $275.5. I'm 270.5. We know that that's not going to get the house, right? We just know 20.5 thousand over asking price. It's just kind of amazing, you know. Yes,
does it get into their situation, like how much they're putting down, or are they?
Right, they're putting 10% down.
Okay.
They have been saving for years. Isn't that nuts? Like this is also the other problem. They've been saving for years for 10% down. Years.
So
you know.
So
and luckily we have Linda McKissack on the show who's going to tell us passive income. Why are you saving for years? Passive income. Let's do it.
So
right?
Ready, Willing, and Able has changed, right? Like they may be ready. Of course, they're willing, but Able has changed in this market, right? Like, and if they are not a 10 out of 10, we're saying if they're not a 10 out of 10 buyer, ready, willing, and truly able, can they compete? We are not getting in the car, right? Like it is insane. So have you figured out the solution yet?
Have I figured out the solution for the entire country?
Yes.
I have. I'm not ready to release my plan yet. One day. But here, this is a little story here. Before the pandemic, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Before the pandemic, home prices in the Lehigh Valley began around $15,000 for a mobile home and went to $400,000 for a 2-story house. Historic homes in the West End of Allentown sold for as much as $450,000. And that is, they're saying that area of Allentown, the prices have gone up, over 25% over the last quarter, which is crazy. Like my mother recently put an offer in on a house for a buyer, and the house had 65 offers in northern New Jersey. Like at that point, when do you stop accepting offers? Do you stop accepting offers? How do you look through those offers with your client, right? Like what's the plan that you have in place for that? But I also want to make one comment, because that was just an open-ended question, unless you have an answer for that.
We have a great tool within Command for it. Yeah, I would.
Oh, there is a great tool within Command.
It really is.
There is.
There's this
I
thing.
was going to say that
there's this thing inside Command. So, like, let me teach you something about Command. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, really, entering all your offers in, and it spits out this beautiful spreadsheet, and it really does help you compare and meet with your sellers.
Al Lafort in the Facebook comments. What's up, Al? Market Center Tech Trainer at the KW Lakeside Market Center. What's up, Al? He says the solution is to work for your buyer. Stop relying on the MLS. Pound the pavement and find those off-market properties. 110% agree with you, Al. This has never been the time. This right now, this is the time for Circle Prospect. And honestly, I don't think sellers know just how. I mean, homeowners, right? I think they're looking at what's going on, but I'm not sure that they 100% understand it. The problem, though, isn't just that. The problem is, okay, well, if I sell my house, where am I going to go? Right? And
we have a pretty amazing person to ask about that.
Right. She's going to be on the show in a minute. Yeah.
Topical, timely. Great job.
Yeah. So on the flip side of that, Al, find out where they want to go and then hit the phones in that area and call realtors there. See if they have any insight in any homes hitting the market. If they know anyone who maybe wants to sell, maybe do, an off-market sale that way. There's one thing I want to say, and then I know that you want to mention a few things. In this market where there's more real estate agents than there are homes for sale, I don't know about you, but I'm not impressed by agents bragging about how their homes sold in one day for 100,000 over asking. I'm not impressed by that because, yeah, it's gonna happen.
Mhm.
There's nothing for sale.
Yeah.
I'm impressed when it's a buyer's market and you're able to get multiples over asking. That's when I'm
I
impressed.
sold my house in 30 seconds. I had 800 offers on it, and we sold it for $1 million over asking price. It's kind of like, I tied my shoes this morning. Good job. Awesome. No,
I
really.
was thinking about listing a house and it sold before I even put it on the market, and it was still in my brain because someone had spidey senses and knew that was happening. But anyway, I just want to say that I'm not impressed by people selling houses in 2 seconds with 97 offers in a market like this. I'm just not.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was a cool article and really interesting about what's going on around the country and how the prices are just crazy, over 100% increases in some cities. I think it's nuts. So anyway,
so yesterday, can I tell you? Yesterday I got to go to our regular regional meeting. It was hybrid, and so I got to be in person. The rest and 10 market centers, 10 market center leadership we were in person. So how cool is that?
That is awesome.
The rest of the region was on Zoom, and they did a great job. But we talked about soft culture versus hard culture. So we know Jason Abrams talks about the Slurpee machine in our market centers, right? So all of these value adds, these amazing value adds, the fun things, the slide from the first floor to the second floor, and the coffee shop within your market center. I love those value adds. I do, and they're awesome. The happy hours, hey, I'm in for one. That's great. So we're defining that as soft culture. So what is hard culture? I was on fire with an apostrophe yesterday. I had a huge epiphany.
You had an apostrophe, not an epiphany.
Epiphany yesterday. So I love taking two seemingly unrelated concepts and connecting them to form a new one. So if we look at our standing committees, like, we look at our finance committee, our growth committee, our luxury committee, our commercial committee, our safety committee, education committee. If we look at all those are all very easy to define. And everyone has such a hard time defining culture. I always say culture is showing up. We have our 52 points of culture, but everybody has a different definition for it. No one can really pinpoint it. Our culture is the hard culture, a culture of productivity, right? Profitability, we are growth-minded people. We're learning-based people. So we look at all of our other standing committees. Essentially, is the culture committee really a committee, or is our ALC the culture committee? And then do we have a social committee, like the party planning committee? So the soft culture, the value adds, that's all amazing. But what are we really, really, really doing for our agents from a consultative approach? Like, our culture demands that you are learning based and growth minded. And the leaders are driving that through giving if we are giving everyone everything they want, that's not a Slurpee machine. Right. That's not a Slurpee machine. We're demanding their greatness from a consultative approach. And there's so much more to that. And I was thrilled. Our regional director, Tommy Floody, just did an awesome, awesome job inspiring his leaders yesterday. And so I'm going to be talking about that a lot, I think.
Our culture is also profitability. If you're not profitable, you're not in culture. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. That's a big one. So, I know there's a lot of agents and teams that can focus on numbers and volume, but if you're not profitable, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can't spend units. A MAPS coach taught one of my agents, you can't spend units. So we focus on a profit goal. So
I love that. That is such good insight. You are so, like, when you talk about stuff, you sound so educated, and I sound kind of not educated. That's why we have me, and that's why we have you. So I also
have better taste in music than you. So thank you. I appreciate that compliment as well this morning.
On Monday, I'm gonna dig out some underground music that I used to like. On Monday, we have Jason Abrams on the show. Let's slip that out. I just slipped that out. So that'll be fun.
All right, game on.
Should we bring? All right, we're gonna bring
Yes,
on
yes.
our guest in just about 1 second. Whoa, what's up, Linda McKissack? Woo! Good morning on a Friday.
Good morning.
So
It's
good
so
to see you.
awesome that you're
I've
here.
gotten to see you for days now. It's like Christmas time.
It's starting to be a habit for us.
I love it.
Christmas time for who? You or Linda?
Both.
Oh,
So it's so funny because when you said that you would do the show, Jessie got so excited, like you're not her OP, and she doesn't get to talk to you every single day. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to ask her so many questions." I'm like, "You can ask her questions whenever you want."
I know. I'm still excited though.
Don't you know that sometimes you have to travel somewhere else to see the person you're supposed to see all the time to get some of the questions answered because you're busy talking about other things? So I can see that.
Yep. So you're in Texas right now?
I am in Texas. I am in the condo that our wonderful insurance company is putting us in while our Texas flooded house gets fixed for the next 8 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh no.
But it's
Wow.
not, no, it's nice. It's the way you make lemonade out of lemons. They told me to get busy and find me a place. And I thought, you know what? There's these cool condos that overlook another lake besides the lake we live on. I've always wanted to try a condo living. So thank you, insurance company.
It looked beautiful. It looked. You'd send me a picture last night, and I saw that there was like the sunset in the background. It looks beautiful.
It is. It's beautiful. It's different, but it's definitely beautiful. So hey, let it rain.
Lemonade. Cheers.
So
Cheers to lemonade.
before we get into everything, I just want to say it actually is a coincidence that today is profit share day, and Linda is the top profit share earner in the company. I didn't realize that it was when I asked you until last night. I was like, holy smokes, it's
Good
profit share
timing.
day, Linda. You better get that profit share open because we're going to ask you. But
thanks for the heads up because I'm not always the one that knows exactly how much we've made. But
I know. I hate when that happens.
I always know it's close because I start getting these beautiful texts from people. They send me pictures of their lake house that they've been able to buy with profit share. They
That's
send
so
me
cool.
sweet notes and tell me what profit share has done for them. So I get that little warm feeling days before. So I guess it comes out sometimes days before too. And I love it because I know it's coming when those little sweet messages start happening.
That's
so cool. Well, why don't we just start with profit share, and then we'll get into. I know Jessie has a laundry list of topics she wants to cover, which I think is awesome. I also want to talk about more passive income opportunities that agents should maybe start thinking about. But your people would be surprised to find out that you don't have that many people on your top line.
No.
How many do you have? 32?
I want to say I have 30 and Jimmy has 3. So it's about 33 total.
Jimmy only has
less.
Wow. Okay. So this is a myth that we're going to bust right now. You don't have to have an enormous top line, right?
No. You and here's the thing, go ahead and get one because
right.
It's like everything we do in real estate. It's a numbers game and you just, you never know, when I went back to Gary a few years ago and said, hey, I'm going to hit that $1 million goal, probably the next year that I had set 8 years before, wrote the check, put it outside my office, looked at it every day. I said, I really feel like we're going to hit it next year. So if I wanted to make 2 million, what would I need to do? And he said, well, you need to go get, a couple, probably 5 people in your front line and help them get to $1 million that have the desire and want to do it. And to be honest with you, I only found about 3 in my front line that would be willing to, do that. Right. I know it's crazy, but unfortunately that's the truth. And then I had to go to a couple below on my second line to really say, how can I help these people get to $1 million? That's how I'm going to get to 2 million.
We did this math recently, and it's close to 18% of the entire company are in your downline. are in Jimmy and Linda's downline. So
What?
you never know when you're going to recruit a Nikki Ubaldini who there's like
Oh, that's right,
6,500
Nikki
people in her
Ubaldini.
downline or something like that.
Yeah. And there's somebody that you recruit that everybody thinks, oh my gosh, you got that person. And it's really not really the biggest contributor. So I always say, don't worry about those pieces. Just go change lives. And, you know, just like we say in our profit share course, it's building wealth while changing lives. So if you just focus on changing the lives, the wealth will always come. You know, you bring enough value to the world, money shows up.
Can you tell us, Linda, so I've gone through the amazing profit share mastery course. So will you tell us where to go so we can all sign on and be part of the profit share mastery course?
It's really easy. It's profitsharemastery.com. And the beautiful thing is, the part I'm loving most that I didn't realize I would enjoy so much is the monthly calls we do with everybody, because I get to hear questions, you know, scenarios, wins, and all those things. And normally if you just teach a class and everybody goes away, you don't get to hear the part that actually gives you the biggest reward. And so I'm loving, and now that Press and I are doing a podcast called Profit Share Mastery Podcast, we're going to bring more of those people on, and it's going to, guess what day it drops on every month?
The 21st?
The 21st.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
we're having guests of people that are going to share with you what they're doing with their profit share. And so that we can really wake people up and say, you know what, guys, this is a gift, but if you don't unwrap it, it's just a gift that doesn't get unwrapped.
That'll be your third podcast.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten the health one off it's kind of taken the back burner to writing a profit share online course and writing a listing course, which we got to pilot a little bit of it in Jesse's wonderful, high energy, fantastic office yesterday in Denton.
So awesome. What a gift.
I had to take the back burner a little bit.
So awesome. So can we ask you about your profit share?
You sure can, now that Nick gave me a heads up.
Okay, what was April's profit share for you, Linda?
Between Jim and I, it was 133,000, which Jimmy did let me know that is the highest, that beat the highest we had, which was back in 2017. So Keller Williams offices and agents are killing it right now.
Wow.
You know what's interesting? Awesome. That is funny that you say that, because I actually had the highest profit share this year in April as well.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
So yeah,
it wasn't anywhere. It was, you know, minus 127,000 or something. But but that's amazing. That's incredible.
Comes before this number. If you don't get to whatever your number was, you're never going to get to this number. So
oh my God, I love how you think of it.
Yeah, don't worry about the number, because the number means you're moving in the right direction.
I know. I love that. It's like, well, you know, that number does come before 135,000, so you're on the right direction. I'm like, wow, thank you for that. Is very good thinking. That's very impressive. And you guys, you have a profit share business model, right? Like an agent would have a business model for their business following the MREA. You have a business model for your profit share. I mean, are you prospecting every day for that type of stuff, or how does that look?
You know, what I actually discovered when Press and I wrote the profit share course, Nick, what I really discovered is the formula that it takes to be successful at building your profit share is actually the very same formula it takes to be successful at building a real estate business that has sustainability long-term. And that is, you know, relationships. Who do you want to be in relationship? Who do you enjoy helping? And like we taught yesterday in Jesse's office, you know, picking listings is the most important relationship you can pick, because those agents that are, you know, doing in the business longest and have a business they can turn over or sell, or have a business that's sustainable in whether it goes up to a buyer's market or seller's market, they're strong listing agents, you know. And so picking listings as an important relationship is very important. And that's the first piece of any formula. Who do I need to be a hero to? Who do I need to serve? And then the next one is, what's my validity? So those people will be willing to let me have a relationship with them. And we have so many great tools in Keller Williams that people can use for validity. The Shift book, the MREA book, the MREI book, the Hold book, all those books can become our tools to be validity to the people in our marketplaces, whether they're potential recruits or whether they're potential sellers for us or people to do business with. And then the next one in the formula is, what is their value right now? Or what is their biggest value gap that I can help fill without expecting anything or asking for anything, right? Because really reciprocity and beholdenness really is a very strong magnetic force that people don't understand. But I want you to experiment this. Next time someone continually gives to you, your natural instinct is want to do something back for that person. And so if I'm recruiting them, the thing they're going to give back to me is when I've poured into them and I've helped them with their value gap with little things here and there, and I care about them. They go back to their office and they think, man, nobody over here cares. Nobody over here is trying to help fill that value gap. So then when I ask them to do something like go to mega camp, go to family reunion, join this Zoom class, that's where they're going to say, yes, I'm dying to say yes to you because you're giving to me. And it has nothing to do with Keller Williams, has nothing to do with Gary Keller. It's about that person, and it's about helping them self-discover that whatever their value gap is can be better served with me as their agent or me as their company, either one. It's not complicated. It's the same formula, whatever we're going to build.
So true. So we're talking about the classes. So Profit Share Mastery class, profitsharemastery.com. We've got you're developing the listing mastery course. Amazing already.
Yep.
And you said before that you try to teach at least once a year, fierce conversations, career visioning. I think, did you say quantum leap as well?
I love to teach quantum leap. I always continue to teach listings too, because it's just a passion I have. To me, it's kind of gotten lost in all these buyers that need to buy a house, and they're so busy that they're forgetting you got to learn how to list. Because if you learn how to list, when the market shifts, you could gain market share that you'll never lose again as long as you're in the business. But you're on a slippery slope, not understanding or learning how to be a strong listing agent. So yeah, I love teaching about listings too. It's just to me, the highest form of leverage that you can get first in your business.
So my question is, are there any out there concepts or amazing courses that you've taken or seen or are thinking about that would change that list or add to that list of courses?
That I would do, not so much. No, because my thoughts on this is I got to have a true passion. It's got to be authentic for me. I've got to have stories and experiences. So the only other one we'll eventually do is that formula. I love it, and I'm starting to see it everywhere. So eventually that'll be probably first a small book, and then I'll from that create tools and things that people can use to get very clear about that in their own business. But right now I don't see any on the horizon. But that could change.
Talk about a strong listing agent. Cammie, yes, I love this too.
I fell in love with Fierce when I heard her at family reunion. So if we have an amazing guy or girl at family reunion that comes with one of those ideas that, you go, this is amazing. I've got to have this in my life, then that'll change. Yeah.
So you mentioned start with a little book. There's a little book that I have in my office, Presentation Mastery. And y'all know the guy that wrote the foreword of the book, Gary Keller. And so he said, he said, this is so cool. To Jim and Linda, what you say and what you do are the same thing. And the essence of who you are as a business person and real estate agent. What an amazing compliment, number one. My question is, people can be super high integrity, like, of course, like you and Jimmy are. And they still end up having to break commitments. Right. For some reason, like right now in the busyness of this market, they're having to break commitments. So is there a particular skill set or something that we can study or focus on to make us better at that? Or is there a personality trait that you attribute that to? Where does that come from?
You mean, well, first of all, try not to make commitments you're going to have to break, and I think over time you learn this better. You don't, and a lot of people struggle more with this because they want to please everybody. So they say all the things, but, on the Strength Finders, responsibility is one of my highest. Mm-hmm. And so if you have that, whatever that is, that gene or whatever it is, it can drive you crazy because you feel responsible for everything. So when you're like that, you have to learn to say, what can I truly be committed to? And I think people are understanding. If I'm honest and authentic and I had to break a commitment, I would just call that person and I would probably say, hey, can we talk about this? Because I don't want to break this, but this is what's happened or whatever. I mean, I'd have to have an example of what commitment we're actually breaking. But I think the big ones you don't break. You stay committed to. You stay committed to your family. You stay committed to building the biggest business you can build. And if you have people on your team or people in your life, you really have to stay committed to building a big life, because you deciding that you've had enough is deciding for all your people that they don't get to get more. So if you decide you're going to lead people, then you have a responsibility to go be making a bigger life. And if I make a commitment to those people, and I try not to make commitments to people that I don't think aren't laying awake at night worrying about me as much as I'm laying awake at night worrying about them. Because I have actually gotten into commitments with people that I figured out pretty quickly. They're not laying awake at night worrying about me. And I'm spending a lot of nights laying awake worrying about them.
That's so good. I have I have a list of questions, but I have a systems question. You had said a while ago, whenever there is a problem, perhaps we're just missing a system, and that's been stuck in my brain. And I'm a systems person. I love it. And so from the book that y'all gave me, you and Jimmy gave me a while back, the Management Mess to Leadership Success. That's the Franklin Covey book. There's a quote in there that says, "This is every leader's mandate. Change or die. Constantly improve your systems or be left behind." I see this as a consistent, difficult thing for agents to sit down and do. So what's the answer? Is it just do it, or is it something else?
It's not just do it, because here's my philosophy on that. If I procrastinate on anything that I really feel like, if I say, okay, hey guys, I'm going to do a video. This was recent. So it's a recent one. Hey guys, yes, y'all want me to do more videos? Okay, I'll do some more videos. But then I don't do the videos. I'm not very good at the lifestyle videos. I don't think when I'm out somewhere, oh, Linda, be sure and snap a picture. Or Linda, be sure and, get your camera out. I just don't naturally think that way. So what I say to my team is, look, I'm not saying no, I won't do it. I'm just saying you guys have to figure out how I'll do it. So together we can talk this out, and we can feel just like, the podcast that I do with Dana. I tried a podcast on my own for a while. I hated every second of it. So, if I'm not eating the way I'm supposed to be eating because I'm traveling all the time, I need a system around how to get that done. But I'm going to tell you, Jesse, I think the number one system for agents is the who. The who that's good at systems. It's not you getting better at systems. So my answer is never, and I remember years ago, like I said, when you got to Keller Williams early enough, you were blessed to get Gary. And if you were the top agent in the company, you got Gary as a coach. And I remember he said to me one day, I probably had said it like 40 times, well, when I get a good system, I'll do X. And finally he just looked at me and said, Linda, you know how you get a good system? Like, no, how do I do that? And he said, you hire someone who's a systems person. And it's so true. I'm never going to be a systems person, but I love systems and I need systems. And I can see where I need one. If I'm procrastinating, I need a system, but 90% of that time, I need the who to put the system in place, not me.
That's a really good point. Like, personally, I'm definitely not a systems person. I have ideas, but big
ideas.
I feel like systems and implementation are the same thing. Or like, as soon as I have someone to help me figure out how to move forward on something, I can then continue to do it. Jesse, and I've been doing this together for a couple months now, and I'm sure she's figured that out about me. She has everything set up, all of the calendar links and the emails and this and that. And I can't function without a without a system in place. Yes. Yeah, I'm very good at just flying by the seat of my pants. And that's not good for everybody. It's probably not good for me most of the time. But yes, finding that person
it's in good your life. Nick, it's good for you for what your lane is. So don't change who you are and don't say, well, I need to be more like this That's not the case. Learn how to go collaborate with amazing people like Jesse in your world, that they love that. They get, systems probably frustrate the heck out of you and I. Because I just want to throw a bunch of ideas up against the wall and somebody else help me get them to the finish line. But Jesse her brain. See, Dan Sullivan taught me something recently that I just have loved. You're either a multiplier or a simplifier. And if you're a multiplier, Nick, you're a multiplier. You need a simplifier in your life. You probably need lots of simplifiers. Mm-hmm. And by the way, a simplifier can be a great entrepreneur that builds a great business. Gary Keller's probably a simplifier. Dan Sullivan's probably a simplifier. And these are some of the best in the country at helping entrepreneurs and realtors do what they do. So I think once we stop beating ourselves up about the things we don't do, and we just go collaborate and put their credentials with our amazing credentials, that's when you create something that nobody else can compete against. Nobody else can be you and Jesse. And so you stop competing. If we could just stop competing and start collaborating, all of our worlds would be bigger. But as long as we have to feel like we got to change or fix something about ourselves, it's just going to constantly, we're not going to be looking for the right who's to collaborate with. So you're amazing. I agree. You are.
Well, thank you very much. Jesse is a systems and an idea person too. And that's very rare to find.
Yeah. It's conflicting. It's conflicting. It's tough to, my brain is tough to manage.
But here's the thing, Jesse, there is one that if you did it all the time would fulfill you the most and make you the happiest. And that's what we don't understand. Yes, as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be both at sometimes in your life. But if nothing was working right in your life, what's the 100% thing that you would prefer to do? And if you can, and what I've learned from watching Dan Sullivan and Gary Keller is they get where their lane is and they get in their lane and they go find other people that, you know, help collaborate and they get to stay in their lane. When a person gets to stay in their lane as close to 100% of the time as possible, they're the happiest, they're the most fulfilled, they can make the most money. All those things come together. But that's a hard thing for us to understand because that means, well, my assistant and I did an exercise yesterday or day before. I've lost track. I think it was day before. And we went down and we said, you know, I said, what if the role is gives you energy and motivates you, and what if the role is okay, and what if the role is irritating to you? And this is a worksheet that I got from Strategic Coach, and I do it on a regular basis because the more we can start getting rid of those just okay things, and then over time, by the time you start even moving the okays off your plate, because something that was motivating to you before, you got to be careful. And I think this happens in real estate. It can move to the okay category or the irritating category. And that's what happens. And so people don't understand that. And so they start thinking, I don't really know. I used to love this now. So you got to keep finding the things that are motivating and energizing, and finding other people that those okay things and those irritating things, they love them. They motivate and energize them.
I think that must have been press that was just saying hi to you. You better say hi.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You're saying
hi,
hi.
I have a question. Hey, Mom, I have a question. It's on full disclosure. It's on Jesse's list of questions, but I'm just going to pretend that I have the question because it's on her list. I'm giving you, well, thank you so much. I'm giving you the credit, but it's a very good question. It's a question I probably would have asked anyway. So
I'm sure.
You know, Linda, you're always pouring into a lot of people. You know, you're always teaching and you're giving. And a lot of times someone at the top, you know, a leader, a lot of times it can be lonely up there. And so my question is, who is pouring into you every day? Like, who is teaching you and coaching you and holding you accountable and giving you everything because you're so busy giving us everything?
Well, first of all, giving people the knowledge and anything I've learned in my journey and anything that can help someone else is actually what energizes and motivates me. So I'm not giving, here's where it would drain my energy, Nick, if I was having to give things that I don't love to give, right? You know,
right.
That would drain my energy. But because I'm helping in places where I really love, it's energizing and motivating me. So I don't need to go, you know, the only thing I need to do, fill my bucket every so often, is just go, you know, have alone time, look at the ocean, think, that kind of stuff a little bit. And everybody's got to know their own rhythm on that stuff. But I do seek out learning because learning is one of those things that energizes and motivates me. So when you know that about yourself and you get to a certain place where, honestly, going to another real estate seminar makes my brain hurt because not that I can't learn anything new. I will learn. Right. From the people that are performing at the highest level, just to make sure things haven't changed and to make sure I can share new ideas with the people. And But I go to people like Dan Sullivan, who's worked with entrepreneurs for 40 years, and he doesn't do anything except make you think about the way you're thinking, because everything we do in life starts with how we think about it. And I always get in front of Gary Keller. I attend his masterminds. I get in the room with him anytime he's on Zoom. So those are my two people that I've found so far that are speaking at a high enough level that I feel like I can learn and grow and then have other things to share with other people. A lot, so I think they're out there. You just got to go find them. And don't share and give to the world things that demotivate you. Give and share if it energizes you and motivates you, which mine does. I was so energized from Jessie's group yesterday from her office. I mean, I was on a high all day. And so
that's so great.
I'm not going to, if I feel something's dragging my energy, I'm going to ask myself, okay, why is it dragging my energy? And if it's something that I can kind of tweak, or am I doing a part that I'm not very good at and I need to bring somebody else to do pieces of it? But if I can't get there at all, it's going to go off my plate. I'm not going to do it.
I also think, let me know if you feel this too. When I'm teaching, there's always someone that says something or has an epiphany or notices something. And I'm like, whoa, I never thought of it that way. Right. And I'm teaching something that I teach a lot. Right. Like, and let's just say I'm teaching something I teach a lot, like, how to generate leads through Facebook and convert, whatever, something like that. And then someone says something and I'm like, I've taught this class dozens of times and I'd never looked at it that way. And that's so cool too, because they're pouring into you inadvertently and making you think of things in a different way. So that happens all the time when you teach something to people.
Well, pretty cool too.
The other thing that happened, the reason I piloted our listing course that we're in the process of writing, I piloted in person, is because I said to my assistant, look, I get so much back from the audience. Yesterday a gentleman came up with I asked him, what's your limiting beliefs? What's kept you from being a strong listing agent so far? Because that's what we have to overcome with a lot of people, is what's their limiting beliefs around being a stronger listing agent than you have buyers in your business. And he said something that I had forgotten about, those people that are really kind of over analytical and they want to make it perfect before they go. And I'm like, oh, see, this is why I come teach this stuff, pilot it a little bit before I actually go try to get it put all together, because I learned from them. They teach you.
Totally. I won't say who it is, but I'm thinking who it is. And I call him the highest C that ever seed. And I absolutely adore his brain.
If we can get him in the groove, and we can help him through some of those things, man, he's going to be amazing.
Brilliant.
Because there's so many pieces that are more natural for him than it is for people like Nick and I, like his knowledge of the market. We have to really go dig that stuff up and make ourselves remember it. And he's going to just naturally get it. So
another Nick.
So we had to, I love the Linda the person questions. Right. So we had to, when we, what was the name of the course? So coaching skills camp. It was coaching skills camp. So before we go and break the boards, we do this exercise, right? Like this is my favorite thing ever, by the way. I was on fire for a year after the board breaking. I want to do it in the market center. I don't know if it's a liability.
The breaking of the board. Okay. That class. Yeah. I thought you were using, a phrase or something.
We get to write down our limiting beliefs and our greatest fears. So like you seem fearless. What is the greatest fear?
You know what? I always say, do not compare your insides to someone else's outside. It's the biggest mistake we can make. And I try to always say to people, look, everybody has limiting beliefs, but what you're seeing is the outside production of them figuring out how to go ahead and do the thing with the limiting beliefs, right? So we all have limiting beliefs. That's a really good question. And I want to tell you, it took me a good while to break that board. And the other thing is, don't break boards right now. They're way too expensive.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You can make a lot of money on either of those boards, guys.
Grab those boards and sell them to somebody who's trying to put a house together.
Put them aside for your kids.
That's
will them to them.
Yeah, it's like gold right now. So my greatest fear, might be, oh, wow, it's not failure, because I know that failure leads to success. So it's not failure, maybe letting people down. I don't know. That would probably be pretty high up there for me. the only time, you know, somebody asked me yesterday, Rebecca in your class had gotten those questions from Maps on what do you ask a millionaire and a billionaire? And it's so cool. She came up at break and asked me a few of them, and I asked her, could I use those and maybe do a future interview myself with those questions, because I loved them. And she said, what's the one word you'd use to sum yourself up? And I said, tenacity, because I'm not major brain cells or skills. It's, I won't give up. If I believe in something and I'm really, believing in it and we're going to do it, I'm going to be very tenacious. And I think about that. And the only time in my life, Jesse, that I've ever thought about quitting something really major was when I was building the Ohio Valley region. And nobody had a real good blueprint of how you go build a region. So I'm just up there, flying by the seat of my pants. And the times I felt the most frustrated, and I called my friend Joe Harker and said, I just don't know. Maybe I shouldn't do this. In 3 years, I didn't have one market center yet. That's pretty tenacious. And he said to me, Linda, you can't quit. And I said, I can't. And he said, no, because you don't know if you're on the 5-yard line or the 50-yard line. And I thought, I am on the 5. I know it. But the reason I thought about quitting is I didn't want to let my family down. They were sacrificing every time I got on a plane to go do this. Gary Keller was depending on me. Mo Anderson, I had to report to her, and she was depending on me. The thought of letting people I care about down is the only time I've ever known in my life I thought about quitting. So I'd have to say maybe it's the fear of letting people down. I guess I really think what's my biggest fear. I got a ton of limiting beliefs. We all do.
Sure.
But you have to learn to go ahead and figure out how to get around those fears.
It sounds like I hear grit in all of that too. So my dad said he wanted me when I decided to I did not go to college. So he wanted me to originally, of course. Your parents want you to have a passion, right? And so he used that word. He wanted me to take a tenacious bite out of life, right? Every parent wants their child to be happy, of course, and successful, but what is success to them? So you must have an extremely high grit score too. Yeah.
I don't know how you measure that, but
there's a test. Oh, there's a test.
I'm probably the only one I haven't taken. Let's take it.
It's you can probably find it online. It's really simple. It's from Angela Duckworth's book Grit, and it's 10 questions. It's brilliant the way they're laid out. And you need to take it. I'll find it.
Add that to my career visioning process. The only one I'm really scared to take is the intelligent one, because I don't really want to know. KPA makes you feel dumb enough sometimes when you get towards the end of that stuff that you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't even be doing anything. But
I love that. I love when you send
Jesse,
a KPA to someone. They're like, did I fail? Did I fail?
Jesse, you didn't go. I didn't graduate college. You didn't go to college.
I didn't.
Oh my gosh, I love us.
I know we do. I went to college for a day. College for a day.
You went to the college.
Now I've taken plenty of courses. I love to. I'll love to go and proctor a course or to go and evaluate.
I think it's great. I think sometimes listen, and my kids. I say to my kids, well, we're gonna say to my kids, if they don't want to go to college, that's fine. Go to a trade school or something. Real estate's a trade school. Go be a mechanic or go be whatever you want to be. Go to some sort of school where you can learn to do something, but I'm not going to necessarily push them to go to college. Right. So I think this is a question from Johanna on your list here.
Yes, this is such a great question.
So can I ask this if you don't mind?
Please.
It's a really good question from Johanna in your market center, Johanna McDaniel. She wants to know, she says, we're always looking for a particular person in our lives, like a friend, a coach, an employee. Who are you looking for right now in this point in your life, in any area of it?
Oh, people that I can collaborate with, people that have credentials that I need to fulfill any goals or dreams, and that I can collaborate with, and they can be in their lane and have so much fun doing what they're doing. Any talented people that are waking up and saying, where's mine? Gary says every 5 to 7 years, people wake up and say, where's mine? So I would say more of those people, because I'm having so much fun. It's like when things finally click. I remember years ago watching Gary put talent does this, non-talent does that, wealth determiners. And I mean, it was like, what the heck is he even talking about? Is he like speaking a foreign language? But if you show up enough and you go out and try this stuff over time, something clicks. And I can remember those moments when it finally clicked. Oh, this is what talent feels like. Oh, and then taking what Dan's teaching about, letting people be in their lane and using their credentials that make them happy, give them energy, motivate them. The two of those are like a beautiful combination aha for me. And that's what my path is right now. Is I'm always searching who is that talent that if I could put them with my ideas and my things that I want to fulfill, and they could add this other piece, man, we'd both have so much fun doing it, and it would just be a blast.
That's so perfect. What book are you reading right now, and what book or books do you recommend for our associates, our agents or everyone to be reading right now?
My favorite book right now is Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. I read all of his books, every book he ever comes out with. He comes out with a little book every quarter, which is something I want to start doing. I'm not going to commit to one every quarter like he did, but I love the idea because I think people want to read. They'll read a small book more than they'll read a big book. So he has a new book out called Who Not How, and I love it, and you can't read it enough. And I'm always looking for good books. So people share with me, what are some great books that you're reading? The problem is when you've read so many books is I don't want to get an idea that I've already solidified. Okay, I already believe this. So, and a lot of times books continue to regurgitate some of the other stuff. So that's been harder for me to find books that are just unique and different and just make me go, Have you read I Love It Here? I have, and I had him on our podcast.
Did you? Oh, shoot.
It's so good.
I'm gonna listen to it.
Who wrote that one?
I love him. He is just the purest soul. And you know what? He found his unique ability in what he did here because I knew him before because I went to Recharge and Diana had him there playing the drums. And that's why I said to him, I'm like, I know you. You're the one that was a troublemaker kid. And your teacher was so smart to say, you're not a troublemaker. You're a drummer, because he kept tapping. So I love him. So
what's the book and who's the author?
I don't know what series it is, but Dana would. But he's on there somewhere.
Yes. I'll find
the author of that, and what's the book?
What's his name?
The book title is I Love It Here. And
I Love It Here. It's so good. And, he says it's kind of about millennials, but honestly, it's about any great workplace. Clint. Yes.
There's someone in the chat that wants to know who your favorite kid is.
Listen, I know which kid that is. Press, you're trying to get me in trouble.
Nice try, Press.
He's so funny.
Try.
So, okay, I love it here. I love culture renovation. That was a new idea. Nick, you talk about all the time now. You're off leadership business books right now, and you're into fiction. Are you reading any fiction?
Yeah, I'm not big on. Well, the reason why I stopped reading so many leadership and business books is because it wasn't helping my mental health. It was making me anxious, and it was making me feel like inadequate. It was making me feel like I wasn't ever doing enough. And I started reading more fiction. Yeah. And the first book I started with when I decided to read fiction was I found out from Jay Papasan. I'm going to show you in a minute that he recently introduced Gary to fiction, because Jay, when Tristan and I interviewed him for our LCA Chapter 2021 virtual conference earlier this year, Jay says that he alternates. He'll read a business book, and no matter how boring it gets, he powers through it, because at the end of that book, he's going to dive into a, quote, delicious thriller. And he rewards himself with a thriller. And he said that Ready Player One is one of his favorite books, and it was recently made into a movie by Steven Spielberg. And he said that he told Gary to read it. So I emailed Gary. I was like, I heard you loved Ready Player One, such a great book. He goes, if you love Ready Player One, you should read Dark Matter. So I was like, getting it.
Well,
I read this book.
Gary also said Ready Player One, a fiction book, was one of the best business books he's ever read.
He said Ready Player One was one of the best business books. That's what Jay said. He said, but Gary said he never said that. I don't know, but I could see how he could feel that way. But then Gary recommended Dark Matter and said it's great. He goes, if you love Ready Player One, you'll love this. I literally read it in a weekend. It is a page turner. I sent it to Jessie. She's read the first 10 pages and hasn't picked it up since then. I don't know how you only read the first 10 pages. Honestly, like it's one of those books you're like,
I'm going to read it.
Oh my God. Like every chapter is like a cliffhanger, right? So I'm reading fiction because it's helping my mental state. I will read like memoirs, right? Like I read the Bob Iger book, I read the new Michael J. Fox book. I'll read that because it's stories from successful people. But in terms of leadership and what I should be doing, just for me personally, it's not good for
stick to fiction. I love you and I love your mental health. So we have to ask Linda about her morning. You have to walk us through your morning.
Yeah, Linda, what do you do every morning? You get up and then what's your routine?
Well, I hate rigidness. I hate, I hate something that feels like a constant, the same thing. So I switch things up. About 2 days a week, I go meet my trainer. And a lot of times, because I travel so much, that when I come back into the queue, I have to pick really early mornings because that's what she has available. So I work out with my trainer, with weights, and 3 days a week I run if I'm home with my good friend that's been my running partner for 20 plus years. We were neighbors. Her husband's our banker. I mean, our kids grew up together, and I get social time with that, and I get running in. And and if I get in a rut with exercise, I know myself well enough to know, first of all, I can't go more than 2 days without it because I always like to say crazy or the blues show up, and I don't like either one of those to show up. And Jimmy really doesn't like either one to show up either. He doesn't know what to do with either one. So I've learned, okay, Linda, you're in a rut. Okay, sign up for a class. Because remember, my highest is, besides this achiever, my highest other one is responsibility. So if you know that about yourself, you can kind of figure out what's the system to get you back in queue. And then if I travel, I have a Peloton at Anna's house in Ohio because Anna sauna. I'm a big sauna person, because I love health is my other longevity, and health is my other favorite thing to talk about. So I do a lot of Juve red light therapy, cryotherapy. I love all those things. So that's my fascination. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm trying to stretch more, trying to, get my IT bands where my legs don't ache from all the running I do. I think I'm like everybody else. I just get up and try to figure out what are the most important things you need to be doing. I try to be current with, what's some fun experience I can do with my kids that would be unique and fun to them. What time do Jimmy and I need, together. So just kind of always, and thinking ahead. I've learned to think ahead enough because I'm not a real planner, but I learned there's certain things that if you don't kind of at least the week before or something, go ahead and, like check in with my trainer and say, hey, what days do you have next week? Or, hey, Jimmy, let's go out this night or whatever. Then you don't fit that stuff in. But I don't like an office, so I don't go to an office. I'm here at the condo right now, the one that we're staying until our house gets redone. But I might go in the office some, but I don't want to go in the office too much. So it's really weird. Freedom and flexibility is like my jam. So I'm always making sure that we do that, and we travel a lot. I was just 2 weeks in San Diego working from there. Now I'm back here in Texas for a week. Monday afternoon, we fly to Ohio, and I'm there for a little over a week. So, I have to figure out how to set the rhythms that I want up in those places. That's what I meant, Jessie, by if something's not working. Like I keep saying, I need a trainer in Dayton, Ohio, because I don't do weights when I'm there. And then I come home and she has to make me sore all over again. So, you're just saying, how do I figure out how to do the things that are important first, put those big rocks in first.
Well, I'm going to win the day now. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, this is how I started my morning.
Right. So, yes. I started my morning with the top profit share earner of the company who had the best month did we say on record?
No, best April ever. 2020 was our best one in this month, and now this one is not the best. I think we've gotten more in some months, but for this month, this exact month, 2017 was our best until this one came along. So Keller
Well,
Williams,
we could
Best
go.
April ever. Kicking butt.
Keller Williams is killing it. Our agents are killing it out there. And I know that's not easy. And I know it has to be emotionally draining. So I love every one of you. Take your time off, get rejuvenated, and God bless the buyers out there. I feel so bad for them. Has to be tough.
Go on a sabbatical. Like
A
Jesse.
sabbatical. It's just a mini sabbatical. Yes.
Well, we could talk about this for another hour or two, but we're going to let you go.
All right.
We appreciate you spending your Friday morning with us.
Thank you.
Good way to go into the weekend and get us rejuvenated for, I don't know what I was thinking, rejuvenated for Monday. Thank you, Linda. It's
My
always
pleasure.
a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. You rejuvenated me also. And don't forget to plug into the Profit Share podcast or Everything Life in Real Estate, because we have great conversations over there. And Nick, we need to get you on about your Facebook stuff.
Yes.
I mean, listen.
Such a fun guest.
I'm waiting for my invite very patiently.
I know it's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
See you guys.
Love
Well,
you, Linda.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Everybody,
Thank you. Have an awesome weekend, everybody.